Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And I'm Chris McHale, CEO and co-founder here at SBK and Associates. I'm here with Ed Chung. Can you introduce yourself, Ed?
Hi, I'm Ed. Yep, I'm director of engineering. I oversee engineering day-to-day operations here.
Okay, super. So today our topic is going to be vCAD, and this is a new, relatively new product platform that SBK's developed, really for engineers. And it has lots of different uses, but today we're going to focus on how it benefits mechanical engineering and using mechanical engineering tools on this platform. And Ed's got a lot of experience with this at some of our clients, and he's seen some great ways that it's been put into play and how it's being used. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Does that sound good, Ed?
That sounds great.
Okay, super. Okay, for maybe just for those of people who are listening, they may not know what vCAD is. So could you provide us with a pretty short description talking about what that is?
Absolutely. How do I shorten this? This was really, built for our own use, like an internal tool that we've started sharing with our clients because once they saw it, they were just so excited to use it to accomplish the following. And typically one or more, let's just call it administrators, create a base image, and then users are empowered to create as many workstations from that image as they want. The workstations have GPUs in them. They live in the cloud, and we only pay for when they're being used, right? So therefore, there's a lot of cost savings and cost efficiency, I'll say, because here we've got productivity and cost savings combined.
Right. So just in summary then, this is a virtual, the ability to create virtual workstations in the cloud, and these are powered by AWS, we should say. The ability to create virtual workstations in the cloud and to do it kind of seamlessly and easily and self-serve. Is that pretty good? Okay.
Yes.
Great. All right. So you've got, I think we're going to confine ourselves to 3 of these use cases, right? You have a bunch more, but we won't have enough time. It'll be too long. So why don't we start with the first one, whichever one you talk about first.
Let me talk about what I'm actually working on today. One of our clients, big medical company, is doing CSV, that's a computer system validation. The short of it is they have to run a series of tests on a new version of Creo. Okay. Creo is a vCAD software. They're upgrading to the latest and greatest. They run a series of tests, and there were 2 things that vCAD saved them on. One is that when you're running tests, you break your computer, right? Some tests you can't run twice because the first test said, delete it. And then the second time you run it, you can no longer delete it. So by using vCAD, we allow people to reset their test bed by themselves without interruption, without reaching out to someone else to do something. And it only takes 2 or 3 minutes to reset it.
And that's so huge. Just to interject here, it's effectively a browser-based portal, right? And they go in and they hit a button, they create their image, and now they have a desktop in their browser, or at least on their machine. They do whatever they need to do, and then they say, okay, that's it. I want to get rid of it and recreate it anew. And they get rid of the old one and then press the button again, create a new one, which takes a couple minutes to create.
It takes a couple of minutes, and it's been great because that means, I don't know, how long does it typically take to ask IT to create a new image from a snapshot? So lots of time savings there. I can't even describe it. It must be, hours per person is being saved there. And I have trouble describing it because the per person thing was the other thing it improved, right? In the past, when doing testing, we're sort of restricted by, I have to get you a workstation. I have to get you physically to a workstation for running this testing. Now, because of vCAD, what they did was they started with one person set up the image, the snapshot, the template. One person set that up. They brought on 3 testers who ran through the testing. And then when they wanted to bring on another 8, 9, 10, 8, I'll call it 9.5, when they wanted to bring up more testers from different locations, it was just an email link, right? Here's an email with a one website to go to. Get your testing done.
That's awesome. Yeah, that would be huge.
It's just so much productivity gained from being able to, isn't that I don't know, it's kind of the dream, right? When
Yeah.
I want more tools, I get more tools, and I only pay for them while I'm using more tools, and
Right.
then I delete the tools and I don't have to pay for them.
Right. That's great. So that's the first and a recent use case that you've been working on. Why don't you give us another one?
And just similar to that, right? They're going to finish up their testing today. They're going to use this for training, right? Look at training, how valuable that is for, what's that situation? Hey, I would like 20 workstations with GPUs for 2 hours. That can be a hard request for, small companies, big companies alike, but using this system, now you get your 20 workstations.
Yeah, I actually remember when you were going to do a training, and of course, most of them were in person at the time. But even, and I just thought of something about remote, but when you were going to do that in-person training, you'd have a classroom or you'd have a conference room set up, and then you'd be hunting for all of these laptops or workstations that were sufficiently powered so you could do your SolidWorks, whatever.
And then
training.
To save money, you say, hey, Chris, you can bring your own laptop. But then Chris brings her own laptop, but it's configured a little bit differently. And now at the beginning of class, we have to get you connected on your laptop. Everyone's waiting for 30 minutes times 20 people.
Yeah.
One person gets left behind because they're late.
Yeah.
All those problems go away.
Yeah, yeah. And then also you can't really do it remotely because, like you said, unless you have the exact right version of the mechanical CAD software and the configuration on your laptop remote, you actually can't participate adequately in the training. So that one seems like really helpful.
It's really great. Yeah. The other thing that we didn't even realize would be the case was that we were doing this training. This is all, did I say it's with Creo? It's also with Windchill. Windchill is a PLM system and a quality system. And one of the issues we always have is we want people to practice, I'll just say doing ECOs. We want people to practice doing ECOs, but guess what? You don't really want 20 training ECOs in your system. And when you touch, a shared system, then, what if someone names it the same? Or what if someone deletes a file, God forbid, deletes a file, and your training gets off the rails? No, we encapsulate the entire Windchill system inside each of these VMs so that everyone is logging into their own system. It's always identical. The training always goes smoothly because it's always from the same, the same state.
Yep.
It's smooth training. Like, I guess I never asked, but how do you justify the ROI on my training went smooth? It's great.
Right. And the thing about it is that, of course, people have been working with virtual machines for a while now. It's been around for, I don't know, how many years, decade, at least more, I don't know, maybe 20 years, I don't know. But but the real key is that you've always had to have an IT person or somebody else involved to create the thing for you, whatever it is. And that's what we were trying to get away from when we created vCAD. And again, we created it out of the need of a client or more than one client. And they said, hey, we need to self-serve on this, or the engineers want to be able to do this by themselves. And we thought, yeah, that would be a huge benefit and save a lot of time. So to me, that's like one of the big benefits.
I think that's right. I think there were two limitations we overcame. One was exactly what you talked about, right? Just adding more people to the chain makes things slower, right? Needing to go to someone else to get something. The other thing is compute resources.
Yep.
Right? No matter, I guess I don't know everywhere, but I feel like everywhere we go, you're using VMs and laptops, either the physical laptops or servers. Somewhere you run out of RAM and CPU and everything. And by using cloud, by using we're using an AWS as our infrastructure, you mentioned. By using that infrastructure, we have a lot of room before Amazon runs out of servers for us.
Right. And the other thing, as a side note, a lot of times with cloud resources, you don't have a lot of control over the spend, or you worry about the spend, right? So that was something we were trying to accommodate too. So we have scheduling in there, or you can set up timeouts if you don't touch the machine or you're not working with the machine. So those training people, and they were in the class and they were doing their thing, and then they all left, forgot to close off their laptops. But we have ways and checks in there to make sure that those things get automatically shut off, so it doesn't end up spending money that you don't.
That's right. there's cost savings and reporting, by the way. I didn't realize the value of not just saving the money, but having this report that pops up that says, hey, these 7 people, in this case, these 7 people finished this validation testing for a total of $185 because that many hours times $1.50.
Yep.
Look how, I don't know, it's a very easy thing to brag about to other people.
Yeah. Okay, so that's your second use case. What's your third one for today?
My third use case is I want to talk about we can use vCAD from anywhere, right? I think this is a subtle thing that keeps coming up, and we don't plan it, right? We're always thinking that we're a little bit. I'm sitting at my desk using vCAD.
Yeah.
But nowadays people aren't, right? Nowadays, because of life and work from home, and people want to be on a weekend and different time zones. You've got people working from the couch. People are working from, a bench. People are sadly checking their email from like a golf course. I don't know.
Right.
So vCAD works on a phone and on an iPad. It works on a phone connected to a monitor. So therefore, I personally have used vCAD in the way that I take my my Samsung phone, I plug it into the TV at a hotel, and I can jump onto SolidWorks really quickly from that, right? The hotel internet worked good enough. I could look at things. I had a mouse. I could click around. I could do all the work I needed to do, and then I could turn it off and go back to my vacation.
Yeah, that's a really big one, I think, because it is so specific, the hardware or the compute resources that you need to run some of these mechanical CAD tools. I mean, it's a lot, right? I mean, you can't just run them on a Chromebook or something. Oh, by the way, I bet it would run on a Chromebook too, right? Because all you have to do is open it. Anyway, but the point is you can't run these tools on just any computer. So you need something that's got the right horsepower and resources to run it well. Otherwise, it either doesn't run at all or it's just horrible performance, and you don't want to have any part of it. Speaking of performance, so when you're doing this and say you're using SolidWorks or Creo, what is the performance like versus sitting on let's say a decently powered laptop or workstation, physical? It's been
95% transparent. Right. So I've got people who are using this 24/7, 8x5, right? Hopefully not more than 8 hours a day, but they're just using it as a replacement for their desktops. And it works great, right?
Great.
A lot of things are faster because internet, particularly with people who are working overseas, those people are actually saving time by using vCAD here instead of doing something else.
Right. Especially when you start getting into the data. With some of these mechanical CAD tools, it does matter where the desktop or virtual desktop is located vis-a-vis the data. So
that's right, and it no longer matters streaming video over the internet, because that's what vCAD really is, right? The SolidWorks and the GPU is somewhere else, and it streams the video to you on your laptop.
Right.
It kind of works, right? I mean, when was the last time someone said, "Oh, streaming video from Netflix this is really hard technically"? Right? We don't talk about that anymore. It's just expected to work. So
that's actually a good thing to compare it to. I'd never thought of comparing it to that, but everybody's used to streaming video or streaming movies or streaming TV shows. It is kind of the same thing. All of that stuff is happening somewhere else, and they're just feeding you the video. And the same thing is the case with vCAD. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. On your laptop or your iPad,
Chromebook,
on your
or something. Yeah. Well, that's great, Ed. Really appreciate you joining us, taking the time to describe those situations, because that really brings it to life and makes it more meaningful and understandable to people. So thank you for doing that. Appreciate it.
I'm happy to, and I'm happy to share that, all these people who are really happy with it, right?
Yeah.
It looks great.
Because it makes their lives easier, and that's what we always try to do with everything. Every solution we build, we're always just trying to make the engineers' lives a little bit easier.
That's right. We make their lives easier, but I do feel a little guilty about, one of our customers is really happy because when he works with users who are in Asia at a different time zone, they often interrupt him at night, and they're like, "Hey, can you review my work?" And he's on the couch, and he said, "Thank you so much for," no, he says, he says he's mad at me, but I think he's thanking me that he can get to SolidWorks on his couch
Yes.
from his iPad, right?
While he was
Double-edged
streaming something from Netflix or
probably.
Right. Well, that we're not advocating that necessarily, but anyway. All right. Well, thanks, Ed. That was a lot of fun, and I think we're going to do another session like this, but related to software engineering and the use cases for software engineers, maybe in a few weeks. And so we'll see you again then.
That sounds great. Thanks for having me, Chris.
All right. See you later.